everyone, welcome to part one of our three-part AI webinar series. Today, we'll be talking about solution overview, our smarter events, happier attendees, Cvent AI. My name is Brittany Fisher, and just to go over a few housekeeping items before we get started, we are all in Cvent Webinar right now, which is our webinar platform. You can join the chat on the right-hand side of your screen, submit questions, and download the slide deck and any other docs under our resources tab. I highly recommend adding questions throughout this presentation. We'll make sure to leave some time for them at the end. So let's get started. Like I said, I mentioned that this is Smarter Events, Happier Attendees, Cvent AI, but it's really Smarter Events, Happier Attendees, CventIQ, which is our new intelligence platform brand that we just launched. And we'll go into it a little bit more in a couple minutes. But before I get started, let me introduce my wonderful co-speaker, Ron, and let him talk a little bit more about himself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ron Justice, solution consultant here at Cvent. I may have interacted with many of you on customer demos or even at any of our trade show conferences. My role is really here to kind of help customers evaluate and understand products and solutions that they're currently not contracted for. So I'm really excited to be here along with Brittany to talk to you about CventIQ and how you'll be able to leverage it.
Perfect. And then I'll talk a little bit about my background. My name is Brittany Fisher. You already know that, but I'm on our product marketing team here at Cvent. So my role is making sure that our product aligns with what customers or prospects just like you are looking for. And specifically, I work on our registration platform and our AI. And CventIQ has really been my baby over the last year and a half. So I'm really excited to be talking about it and to have recently launched it. All right, so let's dive into the agenda. What are we going to talk about today? We'll do a little bit of an overview of what's the latest with AI. We know it's moving really, really quickly, so just want to touch on that. Then what is CventIQ? I've mentioned it a couple of times, but what is it exactly? We'll talk on some common AI misconceptions, especially when it comes to security and how Cvent is preparing for that. And then we'll dive into the good stuff. Where can AI make the most impact in your events? And then, like I mentioned, we will make sure to save some time for Q&A. Okay, so before I get started, I'm not going to read this word for word, but legally, I do have to show this forward-looking statement slide. It's essentially saying that throughout our content today, we will share some exciting things on the roadmap and may speak to some light release timelines. However, timelines and development can change, and everything here is projections and not set in stone. All right, so before I get started, who caught the big game last night? You know, the one that everyone's been talking about, or maybe you're trying to keep up with the Love Island finale that happened on Sunday. We've all been there, trying to stay on top and trying to stay in the loop, nodding along at the water cooler, hoping that someone spills the plot so you can catch up. So when I was thinking about this presentation and AI, I feel like that's what AI feels like right now. It's the hot topic of every conversation. It's the headline in every tech article, and it can feel really, really overwhelming, like trying to remember the score of the big game. But here's the good news. We're here to help get you up to speed with all of Cvent's AI and intelligence technology, and we'll make it easy and relatable, and so you can see just how impactful AI can really be for your events. So by the end of this session, you'll not only be able to be in the know with everything, but you'll have some great talking points to impress your colleagues. But let's get started with a quick poll. You can go to the poll section on your screen. What's your stance on using AI as it relates to managing your meetings and events? All right, we see some responses coming in. We're seeing it a little bit all over the map, but really it seems like two camps. People are excited but don't know too much about it yet, or that they understand that AI can be impactful but excited to provide better attendee experiences. So with that information, Ron, do you want to jump into a little bit about our background when we're thinking about AI here?
Yeah, so when we're talking about AI or CventIQ, we understand that we are all at this kind of precipice in the road right now. A lot of people may feel that AI is inevitable. They have to be able to go through and learn it to be able to streamline their tasks and enhance their event strategy. But there's also some people who may not trust AI. So I remember when I was talking to my mother about, the exciting content that I'm going to be presenting at this webinar, and she says, AI, isn't that like, Terminator, Skynet, doomsday scenario? It is a very common misconception. A lot of people are worried about it and that they feel that it's going to lead to full automation. But what we want to be able to stress today is that CventIQ is trustworthy AI. And throughout our presentation today, we'll be able to go through and demonstrate some key aspects and ways that you'll be able to go through and leverage this. Now, there are going to be a lot of misconceptions. I would say some of the more popular ones or the most common ones that we hear are around these 5 key areas. AI is going to share my data. False. CventIQ uses a closed model experience that ensures that the interface is only sharing information that you have put into your individual Cvent account that is public facing. This ensures that we're not sourcing out on the outer webs and bringing out any inaccurate or information that we shouldn't. This idea that AI means full automation, that is also false. While AI is far from perfect, human expertise is still going to be a crucial step and involved throughout the entire process. Now, the elephant in the room. I'm going to lose my job because of AI. No. AI is meant to be able to go through and help automate some of the many tasks that each and every one of us are doing on a day-to-day experience. But at the end of the day, events are about human connection, and humans will always be in the core of CventIQ. This idea of that AI can just go through and fix everything, including your data, so it doesn't matter. I use the analogy garbage in, garbage out. The information that you're putting into Cvent allows for CventIQ to be able to go through and analyze it, to be able to provide you with data and insights and quick summary. But if you're not practicing good hygiene practices as it relates to consistency of the data that you're collecting, as an example, well, CventIQ is just going to analyze that information. So again, you want to ensure that the data that you are putting into Cvent is accurate and it is clean, so that way we are able to go through and tell the appropriate story. And then lastly, this idea of a learning curve. CventIQ is embedded throughout the Cvent ecosystem and platform, so many of the features that you are used to today, you're going to be able to take advantage of. But we understand there's going to be some slight changes, and so we designed this with you in mind to make sure that it's intuitive, easy to use, even for those non-technical individuals. So let's go through and talk through what is CventIQ. So it is built on these 5 pillars. Our unmatched industry expertise. Cvent has been in the industry for 25 years. And with that, we have a lot of proprietary insights and analytics. Our research and development and our tech team has furiously been working on making sure that this is an exciting but powerful release. That, paired with our smart platform and intelligent infrastructure powered by this trustworthy AI, is really what CventIQ is made of. So really think of this as the foundation of what the tool and the solutions will be able to go through and offer. Britt, I'll pass it over to you to talk a little bit about the 4 benefits that our customers would be able to get by leveraging CventIQ.
Yeah, thanks, Ron. And Ron just went over our 5 pillars, and so these are our 4 benefits. And how we're thinking about this is we've done a lot of extensive research with investing in AI. We are really heavily investing from a product standpoint in AI over the next few years. But we didn't want to just develop AI just to develop AI. Like, it has to really, really make an impact in your day-to-day. So from our research, we found that these are 4 areas that are really pain points in the typical event planning and marketing job. And this is where we think that AI and its unique technology can make the biggest impact. So it kind of follows throughout the attendee journey, but where can AI help with venue and vendor collaboration? Then how can it help with making your job more efficient, the user efficiency? How can it help personalize the attendee experience at scale in a way that's never been able to be done before? And then finally, how can it surface new data and insights? So this entire presentation today is going to be based around these 4 key benefit areas and how we think AI can help your job. But let's dive into it. Let's start with that venue and vendor collaboration. Take a second and think about, what's the hardest part of your role when it comes to venue and vendor sourcing? I know not everyone here might do that, but a lot of people do, especially with like big conferences and things like that. Here at Cvent, we're in a pretty unique position having 2 sides of our business. We work with both event organizers and hotels and venues. And we want to make sure that we're bringing them together to create that holistic ecosystem that makes collaborating even easier than ever before. All right, how do we actually do this? What can we do to help you? Ron, can you talk us through our first feature today?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the CSN Search Assistant. So for those of you who are using our Cvent supplier network, which houses over 300,000 venues across the globe to find your venues of where you're going to be hosting your events, you are familiar that you've had to use countless filters to be able to go through and find those exact venues. Well, gone are those days. Through the AI search assistant, you can have a conversation-like style search where I could say, great, I'm looking for a hotel in San Antonio that has 300 sleeping rooms and it's within 30 miles of the airport. With one click of a button, I'm now able to go through and see those yielded search results in a very easy and efficient manner. Britt, do you want to talk a little bit about maybe the Cvent vendor marketplace?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Cvent vendor marketplace is one of our tools that we actually acquired. It was a company called Reposit, and they are here to help you find different venues and vendors. So not just venues, but unique vendors for all aspects of your event. So say you're responsible for your upcoming 2026 corporate retreat. Instead of relying on a Google search to find all kinds of vendors, like not just where you're going to host the event, but who's going to staff it with an AV or F&B, our vendor marketplace harnesses the power of AI to conduct tailored searches and generate proposals for venues, vendors, and unique experiences with the click of a button. So Reposit offers access to over 35,000 vendor options, including transportation, restaurants, entertainment, staffing. We even use it internally. We love it. But essentially, they have a couple of AI tools. They have a Plan Pilot, which is an AI chat that helps coordinate on behalf of planners to get quotes directly from hotels. Then we have vendor matching. So once you fill out that RFP form with the key details, the AI will instantly connect you with what it sees as the best fit suppliers based on your RFP. And then finally, we also have a proposal builder. So with the click of a button, you will add all contextual information from your conversation history directly into a hotel-facing proposal. So really, this entire thing is to help make all of that time-consuming back and forth with vendors a little bit easier and take some things off of your plate. And then we talked a lot about venue and vendor sourcing, but the next thing that I will talk a little bit about is our 3D diagramming assistant. And this is actually one of my favorite things that we just released. we know that designing your event layout can be a lot of iteration. Maybe you had a vision and then when you design it, it doesn't really work. Or maybe the venue said that they had different tables or different things than they actually do. Or more realistically, your attendee numbers are just constantly in flux. So you have to design it and redesign it and update it. And this can be very time consuming. So how can this help? We now have an assistant that lets you chat with and suggest different layouts, setup styles, or update number of attendees in real time, as you can see on this video in the screen. So say you want to completely change your format, you want to sit down style venue, and then someone comes up to you, one of your stakeholders is like, hey, we actually need this reception style. You can just chat with it and you can visualize it in 3D. So when you get on site, it's exactly how you designed it. So that's a little bit about venue and vendor collaboration. Ron, would you mind talking a little bit about how we can increase user efficiency?
Yeah. So we know there is a finite amount of time in your day, and being able to go through and get just minutes back can be really important. So this next session is really going to talk about ways that we can help you maintain efficient in your day-to-day aspect. The first thing is going to be our AI writing assistant. This is a tool that allows for you to be able to maintain consistent messaging by being able to go through and reference any information that's going to be found in your event, whether it's going to be event details such as the location, the date, speaker information, and it's designed to be able to promote and tailor to each of your events. Now, this is something that is going to be found in our registration, attendee hub, Cvent webinar, exhibitor management, survey solutions, and even in CSN. And fun fact, this is the second version of our AI writing assistant. So we're constantly looking at ways to be able to enhance the solution to make sure that your events are in the best foot. Now, the next one I want to talk to is going to be this idea of auto-generated captions and subtitles. So as a child, I used to love watching TV shows with captions. I think it was just because I used to love watching something and being able to read it. But as I grew up, I understood, oh, well, these captions and subtitles actually serve a great purpose. So when we're thinking about it in the event lens, think about ways that you're going to be able to go through and reach a wider audience of people who may live in different locations, who speak different languages, or maybe those who have some type of disability. Instead of having to use a third-party solution, these captions and subtitles can be automatically generated within Cvent, provided to attendees via our virtual solutions, allowing for you to be able to provide accessible content. Now, keeping in mind with virtual content, I want to talk through auto-generated video chapters. I also think about when I was a kid and I used to love watching my favorite movie, Speed, with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, and I would always fast forward or skip chapters to be able to see where the bus jumps over the bridge. Well, keeping in mind with events, think about all the amazing content that you're providing to attendees, and maybe in your keynote or your product roadmap session, maybe there's a particular area that I would like to be able to go through and dive into instead of having to sit through maybe the things that are not relevant to me. This provides easier navigation for attendees, and these auto-generated video chapters can be curated by highlighting key moments of your video content. Britt, I'm going to let you talk about our attendee chatbot feature, which is currently in beta.
Yeah, I love to talk about this, and thanks, Ron, for the call out that it is in beta. Beta is one of our things that we're going to put all of our AI features through. So if any of you on the line are current customers and would like to try out our AI features before they're released, get your hands on it early, give feedback, please sign up for our beta program. But with the attendee chatbot, are you constantly feeling like you're answering same questions over and over and over again from your attendees? I always think about it like when a teacher was like, check the syllabus. All of your information is on your event website that you spent lots of time building out. But attendees keep asking these questions. What's the dress code? What session should I sign up for? Where is the event? And so incorporating a chatbot can help answer these questions. But then you're often faced with having to monitor this chatbot and have someone that's like a full-time job to spend monitoring these chatbots. So that's where our Attendee Hub chatbot can come in handy. It helps alleviate the burden of answering all of these attendee questions over and over because it has access to all of your public-facing profile information on your event website and allowing it to create personalized responses for all of your attendees. So, for instance, it can suggest an agenda tailored to an architect interested in learning more about accessibility, if that's what your event is about. So, it creates that personalized experience from the beginning, from the event website, which helps create more conversions and more registrations for your event because they can quickly find what they are looking for on your event website and making them want to register sooner. And then the last thing that I will talk about today is our AI social media marketing. This tool we recently released can help create buzz around social media and help drive more registrations to your event. So very similar to the chatbot, the goal here is to drive more registrations for your event. And how does it do this? It's very similar to our AI writing assistant. It has access to information across your event instead of having to put in information to a chat GPT. And it just automatically, with the click of the button, generates some content that you can put on things like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it these days, and just saving you a little bit of time and also driving promotion for your event easier when you're doing a million tasks. So those are a couple of things that we have today, driving user efficiency. The next thing that we will talk about is personalizing the attendee experience. So AI can significantly enhance the personalized experience by analyzing data from past events and attendee preferences. AI can tailor communication and recommend specific sessions or activities that align with individual interests. But let's take a step back because I feel like I hear about personalization talked about all the time this year. I know that it was one of our big trends for this year. But like, what is personalization? Why is it important? Think about the last time that you saw an eerily accurate ad or that perfect Netflix recommendation. That's personalization in action. And why does it work? Other than getting a kick out of feeling like you're having a demure brat summer Tuesday afternoon, it makes you feel seen and understood. According to Adobe, 71% of consumers expect interactions to be tailored to their needs. The key word there is not the 71%, but the expect. It is now an expectation to have personalized experiences. And that's great. It's all great said and done, but when you are one event planner planning an event for 5,000 people, how do you have the time to create personalized experiences? That would take you hours to create personalized emails, even based on certain segments. It's just never been realistically possible for small organizations to create personalization at scale before. And that's where AI can really, really make the most impact. So let's dive into exactly how this can be done. Ron, will you talk a little bit more about our attendee recommendations?
Yeah, of course. Well, as Britt mentioned, it is very important anytime you're at an event or even hosting an event that your attendees feel seen and heard. And that is what personalized attendee experiences are designed for. Starting with attendee recommendations, we know that it's going to be impossible to meet every single person at an event. And not only that, you want to make sure that you're meeting the people that may align with your interests. Well, our attendee recommendations is found in the Attendee Hub, designed to be able to go through and suggest recommended people that you should meet with based off of set criteria. This includes the exhibitors they may have interacted or visited with, sessions that they're registered for, as well as being able to go through and look at their search history within the Attendee Hub. This generates a score that we're using from a matching criteria. And we understand, especially for those events that are going to be across multiple days, that we want to make sure that this data is always accurate. So we refresh these matches every 24 hours to ensure that we're keeping up to date to help facilitate attendee networking. With session recommendations, think about it this way. You're at this amazing event, like Cvent Connect as an example, and there's tons and tons of content that may interest you. Well, what we're able to go through and do is use our session recommendations feature for those complex events to surface up sessions that we think are going to be an appropriate fit. Now you're probably guessing, well, asking why, how do you do that? Well, we're actually going to look at attendees who have the same or similar job title as you, and then also making sure they're not from your same organization. From there, we currently use this as a way to be able to go through and say, great, these two things are true, so we're going to go through and recommend this session for you to be able to go through and possibly attend. Now, something that we highlighted also at Cvent Connect that is on our roadmap is what we call snapshots and session takeaways. Think about how often each and every one of us has been in a session and they say something and you're just going through and jotting it down. Well, if you're in a webinar or even a session like today, where I'm sure you're going through and taking a lot of amazing notes, well, that means that you're not as fully engaged. Well, the power of CventIQ is able to go through and analyze the audio that's captured by the speaker. From there, you're going to be able to go through and see a live transcript generated. And then we allow for you to identify the key moments of that transcript that you would like to be able to go through and save and use as your own kind of takeaways or notes. Now, this feature is on the roadmap and we're really excited for it. So just stay tuned for more information on how you would be able to go through and leverage that. Britt, do you maybe want to talk a little bit about kind of the daily summaries?
Yep, I'm happy to talk about our personalized daily summaries. This is another feature that is currently in beta. But think about this as your Spotify Wrapped for all of your events. So what do I actually mean by that? It gives you, as an attendee, your attendees are doing a ton of different things at your event. They are attending sessions. They are talking to exhibitors. They're networking with other attendees. But say they get back from the event and they're like, oh, what did I do? Like, I know I did a lot, but like, how do I actually capture that? So personalized daily summaries are exactly what they sound. They provide personalized summaries of what you did each day at your event. So what I love about this is it proves your attendees the value of attending your event. So they can go back to their stakeholders and be like, I got X, Y, and Z out of this event. It was so impactful. Thank you for sending me. This is why I need to go back year over year. So it drives registrations to your event, increases that engagement, and also makes it easier for you all as planners to see what your attendees are doing and get that great data out of your event. So I'm very, very excited about this one. Another feature in beta, but keep an eye on our roadmap in our community for more timelines. And next, we will talk about data and insights. So data and insights and AI kind of go hand in hand. AI can support event organizers by offering powerful data and analytics, using AI tools to gather data that you may not have had access to earlier, such as attendee behavior data, preferences, engagement levels, all those things that happen before and during your event, and make it easier to surface that data in ways that is summarized, identify patterns and trends, and just making it easier to manage that entire event life cycle year over year. So with that, Ron, do you mind talking a little bit about our AI session feedback summaries?
Yeah. Well, when we're talking about the importance of data, really think of CventIQ not taking over this data because this is your data, but we're just making it smarter. So let's just pretend, it's at the end of an amazing event that you just hosted. And now the work really begins. It's time for you to go through and look through all of the amazing feedback that you've collected from each and every one of your attendees who completed that feedback survey. And that may take some time. Well, actually, with the power of CventIQ, we're able to go through and analyze all of the feedback that was collected to be able to go through and provide information on overall feedback regarding the content, speakers, or overall sentiment. And the great thing is this is generated with one click of a button. No longer are you having to go through and spend hours sifting through data, then maybe putting it into a tool like ChatGPT just to be able to go through and get a summary. CventIQ does all of that hard work and heavy lifting for you. So now you can make better informed decisions much more quickly. Well, we've talked about a lot today, team, and I think now we want to actually turn it over to you all to be able to go through and start answering and addressing some of these questions. So I guess we'll jump right into Q&A.
Before we do that, one last thing, just to keep you waiting and give you a couple more time to throw some questions in the Q&A, because we only have a couple right now and we have plenty of time. So any thoughts or questions, submit them now. But while we're doing that, if you'd like to earn a $100 Amazon gift card, please sign up to complete a demo with us. Just click that button, request a demo, at the bottom of your screen that should have just popped up. And to anyone watching this outside of the US, the gift card can be converted from US dollars to another currency available of your choosing. And then one last plug, please keep an eye out for emails for part 2 and 3 of this AI webinar series. If you're interested in hearing more, we're going to talk about AI in a number of different ways. So we're excited to continue this series. All right, let's get to that Q&A right now. And bear with me, I am doing this live, so if there's any delays. Let's start with this first question. Is Reposit still a separate add-on or not part of the existing platform that you would need to purchase a license for? Ron, do you have some
I can take this
about
one.
that? Okay.
Yeah, so Reposit is going to be an additional feature that you are able to go through and add on. I would say, Laura, please make sure that you're talking with your account representative at Cvent to be able to go through and just make sure that your license does not include this based off of any other parameters. But generally, this is an additional add-on that would need to be purchased.
Thanks, Ron. All right, next. If we sign up for beta to test the attendee chatbot, when would we see that in our events?
That's a great question. So once you go through and submit the request to be a part of our beta program, our team generally will go through and get that assigned and enabled in your account within the next couple of days. Keep in mind, just making sure that you're talking with your account representative here at Cvent. They'll also proactively reach out to you, letting you know when that is complete, but it generally happens within the same week.
Perfect. All right. Next question, and this is a great question, Christine. Data and analysis. Are there more capabilities AI can assist with that aren't text-based summaries? Thinking numerical data, like when people respond to email invites, average time to complete registration, etc.
Yeah, Britt, you want me to take that one?
Look, why don't you take it, and then I'll take it, and we'll just tag team it.
Yeah, so, well, Britt, I'll let you go first. Ladies first.
Okay. I will say that is a great question. We started with the feedback summary because that is one of the things that people spend the most time on, is these text-based, like going through all of those open comments is just one of the most time-consuming things. So I think that's where we started. But we definitely are looking into a number of different ways to surface data, similar to those daily personalized summaries that I mentioned earlier in Attendee Hub, is going to be both text-based and numerical-based. So while we don't have anything specifically on the roadmap for planner-facing summary data, I think that is really, really great feedback, and we can take that to our product team. The other thing that we didn't mention that is on our roadmap and, forward-looking statement, it's still in development, but is these registration predictions. So we will be looking at your event data year over year or event over event, and hopefully be able to surface you some insights to be like, hey, your registrations are lower than this time last year, maybe do some more marketing and surface some data in that way as well. Not just registration predictions, but I think we're also looking into if you have like a revenue goal and things like that. So more of that promotional data before your event. But Ron, do you have anything else to add to that?
No, you hit the nail right on the head.
All right, perfect. Then let's go to the next question. Does the chatbot have a way to convert chat to email conversation with a planner if the conversation gets too complicated for the chatbot to handle directly?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that one. So Daniel, that is really great feedback. At this time, it does not currently support that functionality. However, with it being in the beta phase, this is an amazing opportunity if you're interested, Daniel, to have your voice heard, provide that feedback directly to our product teams. That way they can consider adding it during the general availability phase or a subsequent enhancement release as a part of that solution.
Yeah, I think that's great feedback. And one other thing I'll add, and this is not exactly your question, but with Reposit, our vendor sourcing, a lot of that AI chatbot conversation is the chatbot tries to handle those initial conversations with a vendor. And it does have very similar capabilities where if it can't answer the questions, if the vendor can't answer the questions, then it'll go to that email to answer directly. So different from our attendee-facing chatbot, but there is functionality like that exists within our vendor sourcing tool today. All right, next question. Are there any AI features for registration or the event creation process? Most of this seems to be attendee specific.
Well, I'll go ahead and address that one. So, Robin, that is a great call out. And I want everyone to know that this is just the beginning of CventIQ. So we have a lot of amazing and exciting things coming down the pipeline. While a lot of the things that we showcased are going to be attendee facing, we didn't forget about you planners. So remember, we do have the AI writing assistant as well as the AI social media and session summaries feedback. But some additional things that we're going to be coming down the pipeline is going to be actually an attendee modification chatbot. So this will be something that you'll be able to have a conversation-like style search where you're saying, great, I want to change Brittany Fisher's registration type from this to this as an example. Instead of having to go through those multiple clicks, we'll be able to go through and support that. So that's really kind of the phase one of that experience. Now, our team is evaluating additional planner enhancements. So if there are any specific things that you would like to see as it relates to maybe making the registration creation process much more efficient, please let your Cvent representative know or even put it in the chat. And we're more than happy to submit that feedback on your behalf.
Yeah. And since that was, well, we just got one more question, but I was going to say, since that was the last question, I'm going to add just a little bit more context that we probably haven't talked about too much. But a lot of what we're doing today is adding enhancements to our existing functionality. But we have a 5-year plan for CventIQ and how we're thinking about the entire registration and event creation process. And if AI can really shape that instead of just like adding additional functionality, can AI change the event creation process? And a lot of what's in the news today when it comes to AI is agentic AI. So not anywhere near the roadmap, but just for you all to know how we are thinking about AI is what can we help today easily and what can we really shape the future of AI and the events industry. But one more question. Will CventIQ, and if there's more questions, keep them coming, please. Will CventIQ allow an attendee to ask the event assistant to make a recommendation of a vendor to meet based on their inputted criteria in chat format?
Yeah, well, I can go through and touch that one. Well, I do just want to go through and clarify when you're saying vendor, I'm assuming you're meaning something like in the Cvent supplier network. That's not a part of the upcoming roadmap, but as Brittany mentioned, we have a 5-year plan, so we can definitely take that feedback back to our product team. But Denise, something that we are coming out with in a similar lens is allowing for the attendee to interact with a chatbot to help make exhibitor recommendations. So if you are going to be using exhibitors or sponsors at your event, allowing for attendees to be able to say, great, I would like to go through and maybe meet with an exhibitor that aligns with these needs, being able to quickly go through and kind of surface those things up. So I would, if I had to, guess a little bit, that would just be kind of phase one of it. But again, we can certainly take that feedback to our team, so that way they consider maybe adding something like that within the other parts of the tool.
Yeah, Ron, that was perfect. That was basically what I was going to say too. There's so much more coming down the line when it comes to recommendations. We have a whole plan in terms of collecting interest, surfacing different kinds of interest, and how that can personalize that attendee experience, not just with agenda building, but with exhibitors and everything. So more to come. Keep coming to these webinars and learning more about what's on our CventIQ roadmap and what we are releasing. But for now, I think that's it. So thank you all so much. Thank you for some great questions. And we're excited to talk about CventIQ today. So thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.